When the roads are packed and you're cut off from your home, where will you turn? In a world where land-based bug-out plans can hit serious roadblocks, water may be your way out. For preppers looking to stay mobile, secure, and off the beaten path, a boat could be your ultimate bug-out option. Welcome to Prepper's Paradigm, your source for reliable, no-nonsense prepping advice. Today, we're exploring the ins and outs of using a boat for your bug-out plan. From short-term escapes during minor emergencies to long-term survival in a full-blown disaster, a boat offers mobility, self-reliance, and distance from danger. Before we set sail, a quick note: I use a computer-generated voice due to an injury that makes mine hard to hear, so thanks for bearing with me. Now, let's take a closer look at why bugging out by boat might be a smart move when it's time to leave land behind. So why consider a boat for bugging out? Boats offer some unique advantages that land-based plans simply can't match, and understanding these can help you decide if it's the right choice for your situation. A boat offers something few other bug-out options can: the ability to move freely away from crowded roads and dangerous areas. A boat could also become a longer-term place to live, and not just a mode of transport. When an emergency hits, especially in coastal or river regions, water routes remain open while highways can become gridlocked. By choosing to bug out by boat, you bypass the chaos, giving yourself an edge in staying ahead of the masses. Unlike land-based bug-out locations, a boat can take you almost anywhere with access to water. You're not limited by terrain, road closures, or checkpoints. Instead, you have the flexibility to choose your path and adjust your plans based on changing conditions. This freedom of movement means you can stay one step ahead, moving quickly to safer areas as needed. And let's talk about self-sufficiency. Many boats are designed with long-term survival in mind. Water filtration systems, solar power, and storage for food and supplies make extended stays possible without relying on land-based resources. With the right setup, a boat can be more than just a means of escape. It can be your floating safe haven. One of the biggest advantages, though, is isolation. When you're out on the water, you're naturally distanced from the population centers that are most vulnerable during a disaster. Looting, violence, and panic are less likely to reach you when you're anchored off the coast or tucked away in a secluded cove. Using a boat for bugging out isn't just about escape. It's about control, self-sufficiency, and staying away from the dangers on land. When it comes to bugging out by boat, there are clear advantages, but it's important to weigh the challenges as well. Let's break down the pros and cons so you can decide if a boat is the right option for your bug-out plan. Starting with the pros. Mobility. Boats offer a level of freedom that most land-based options can't. Waterways often remain open even when roads are jammed or closed. Whether you're navigating rivers, lakes, or open seas, a boat gives you the ability to move quickly and adjust your course based on changing conditions. Isolation. Bugging out by boat allows you to distance yourself from population centers, which tend to be hotspots for unrest during emergencies. You can anchor in remote locations, far from the dangers of looting, violence, or chaos on land, giving you a significant security advantage. Self-sufficiency. Many boats come equipped with systems for long-term living, such as water filtration, solar power, and plenty of storage for food and fuel. With the right setup, your boat can serve as a sustainable base for an extended period, reducing your reliance on land-based resources. Fuel advantage for sailboats. Sailboats offer a major perk. They don't rely on fuel to move. While having a backup motor is wise, you can travel great distances under sail power alone, making it a great option in long-term bug-out situations where fuel shortages could be an issue. Flexibility. A boat can serve multiple roles depending on the scenario. It can be your short-term escape or a long-term survival solution. Whether you're using it to reach a more permanent bug-out location or living on it during a crisis, a boat's versatility adds to its appeal. Now for the cons. Weather dependency. Boats are highly vulnerable to weather conditions. Rough seas, storms, or unexpected changes in weather can turn a safe situation into a hazardous one. If you're caught in bad weather with limited options for shelter or safe anchorage, the risks are substantial. Fuel concerns for powerboats. Unlike sailboats, powerboats are heavily reliant on fuel. Running out of fuel in the middle of a waterway can leave you stranded with limited options for resupply, especially if fuel shortages or logistical challenges arise during a crisis. You'll need to carry a significant amount or plan carefully. Limited resources. While boats offer self-sufficiency, space and supplies are finite. You can only store so much food, water, and fuel on board, making it difficult to sustain yourself over the long term without access to resupply points. This could become an issue if you're far from shore for extended periods. Security risks. While isolation can be a benefit, it also comes with security challenges. Defending a boat from potential threats, especially if you're anchored in an exposed location, can be more difficult than defending a land-based position. Boats can be vulnerable to boarding, and without proper defensive measures, you could face serious risks. Living space. Boats, particularly smaller ones, offer limited living space. Extended time aboard can become uncomfortable, and the cramped quarters make it harder to store sufficient supplies. You need to be prepared to live with less space and fewer comforts than a land-based bug-out location would offer. Expense. Boats can be expensive to purchase, maintain, and store. Whether it's a sailboat or a powerboat, the upfront cost can be significant, and ongoing maintenance like repairs, docking fees, and winter storage add up over time. For many, the long-term financial commitment may outweigh the benefits, especially if the boat is only used as a backup bug-out option. Considering these pros and cons is key to deciding whether a boat should be part of your prepping plan. If you've decided that using a boat as a bug-out option makes sense for your preparedness plan, it's important to prepare the right way. Having a boat is one thing, but ensuring it's ready for an emergency situation requires planning, gear, and know-how. Let's go over some essential tips to help you get your boat ready for bugging out. First, prioritize supplies and storage. A boat has limited space, so packing efficiently is key. Focus on non-perishable food, plenty of drinking water, or a high-quality water filtration system. You'll also need medical supplies, spare parts for your boat, and a toolkit for basic repairs. Ensure you have adequate fuel reserves, even if you're using a sailboat, and always carry backup power sources like solar chargers or batteries. Next, know your waterways. Familiarize yourself with local rivers, lakes, and coastal routes. A key advantage of a boat is mobility, but only if you know where to go. Study nautical charts and practice navigating to potential bug-out locations before a disaster strikes. Know where to find safe anchorages, resupply points, and areas where you can safely dock if needed. Keep communication lines open. While on the water, traditional communication methods might not work. Marine radios are crucial for staying in contact with others, especially in emergency situations. Make sure your boat is equipped with reliable communication gear, including a VHF marine radio, GPS, and backup power for these devices. Security is essential when bugging out by boat. Boats can be vulnerable, especially when anchored in isolated locations. Consider upgrading your boat's security, like adding locks to hatches and entry points, or investing in alarms that alert you to potential intruders. Having a way to defend yourself on board is also important, as the isolation that protects you from large crowds can also leave you exposed. Finally, maintenance and readiness are critical. Boats need regular maintenance to stay in working condition, especially if they're not used frequently. Regularly check your boat systems, engine, power, and safety equipment so that everything is ready when you need it most. Keep spare parts on hand and ensure you know how to handle basic repairs yourself. With the right preparation and attention to detail, a boat can be a highly effective bug-out solution. For many preppers, a boat isn't just a place to ride out the storm. It's a way to reach a safer, more permanent bug-out location. Whether you're heading to a secluded retreat, an island, or a remote coastal area, using your boat for transportation requires careful planning and forethought. Let's explore how to do it right. First and foremost, have a destination in mind. A boat gives you the mobility to escape dangerous areas, but you still need a specific goal. Plan your destination well in advance, ideally somewhere you've scouted beforehand. Whether it's a prearranged location with supplies waiting for you or a secluded area with natural resources, knowing exactly where you're going and what to expect there is key. Fuel planning is critical, especially if you're using a powerboat. Map out the fuel requirements to reach your bug-out destination and account for extra fuel in case of unexpected detours or emergencies. Refueling options might be limited, so either carry more than you think you'll need or consider alternate ways of propulsion, like a backup sail or manual power for smaller vessels. Navigation skills are a must. While modern GPS systems are reliable, always have a backup in case technology fails. Keep paper nautical charts for the regions you plan to travel through and familiarize yourself with them ahead of time. Practice manual navigation using a compass and understand how tides, currents, and weather patterns could affect your route. This knowledge will keep you safer and ensure you don't get stranded. Resupply opportunities are another important factor. While a boat allows you to carry significant amounts of supplies, eventually you may need to restock. Know where coastal towns, marinas, or friendly harbors are located along your route. These can provide valuable chances to refuel, replenish food, and gather any other resources you might need before reaching your final destination. Prepare for landing. Once you arrive at your bug-out location, having a plan for transitioning from boat to land is critical. If your location is a remote island or a hard-to-reach coastal area, you may need small crafts like a dinghy or kayak to get ashore. Have supplies ready to make the transition smooth and ensure that your boat can be secured safely while you're off it. Finally, stay flexible. Even with the best laid plans, emergencies can force you to change course. Whether it's a sudden weather shift, a navigational issue, or an unexpected challenge at your destination, always be ready to adapt. If you can't reach your first choice location, have backup destinations mapped out and ready to go. A boat offers the ultimate flexibility when it comes to bugging out, allowing you to stay mobile while moving toward a more permanent, secure location. If you're considering using a boat as a long-term survival solution during an SHTF scenario, there are several factors to keep in mind. Living on a boat for an extended period comes with its own set of challenges and rewards, but with the right preparation, it can be a viable option for those seeking security, mobility, and independence. Let's break down what it takes to make long-term living on a boat sustainable. Self-sufficiency is key. To thrive on a boat over the long haul, you need to ensure that your vessel is set up to be as self-reliant as possible. Solar panels are an excellent way to generate renewable energy, powering everything from lights to communication devices. Wind turbines can also be useful, especially in areas where solar power may be limited by weather. Having multiple sources of renewable energy will keep you from relying on shore power or fuel. Next, water and food management become critical. Fresh water is one of the most important resources on any boat. Consider investing in a high-quality water desalination or filtration system so you can convert seawater or other sources into drinkable water. This can help extend your time on the water without needing to dock for resupply. As for food, fishing gear is a must. The sea can provide a renewable food source if you know how to fish and preserve your catch. Additionally, stockpile long-term storage foods that can last for months, if not years, without refrigeration. Also, think about locations where you can easily get ashore to forage for food to replenish your supplies. Adapt your living space for comfort and functionality. Boats, especially smaller ones, can feel cramped over time. To avoid cabin fever, make sure your boat's layout is optimized for long-term living. Focus on efficient use of space, including storage solutions for your supplies. Clear the clutter and create zones for sleeping, cooking, and working. These small adjustments will make life on board more manageable in the long run. Maintain mobility. One of the greatest advantages of living on a boat during an SHTF scenario is the ability to move whenever necessary. Whether it's to avoid dangerous weather, evade threats, or find better resources, always stay ready to set sail. Keep your boat in top condition by performing regular maintenance checks, ensuring your engine and systems are in working order, and keeping an eye on your fuel reserves. Stay connected. Even when living in isolation on the water, staying informed is important. Invest in a good marine radio or satellite communication system to stay in touch with the outside world. This will allow you to monitor any developments, whether it's weather, potential threats, or opportunities for resupply. Lastly, as I've mentioned already, security is essential. Just because you're on a boat doesn't mean you're completely safe from others. Isolated waters might protect you from large crowds, but opportunistic threats can still find their way to you. Have a defense plan in place, whether that includes alarms, deterrents, or other means of protecting your boat and yourself from intruders. Living on a boat long-term in a post-SHTF world isn't easy, but it offers flexibility, self-reliance, and safety that few other options can match. If you prepare your boat and yourself, you can turn it into a sustainable living environment for the long haul. We've covered a lot of ground, or rather water, in this video. Bugging out by boat offers a unique set of advantages and challenges, and whether it's the right choice for you will depend on your specific situation and preparedness strategy. Let's recap the key points to help you decide if a boat should be part of your bug-out plan. First, we've seen that mobility is one of the biggest benefits of using a boat. It gives you the ability to escape crowded, dangerous areas without being stuck in traffic or blocked by impassable roads. For preppers near waterways, this level of flexibility can be a game changer. Boats also provide isolation. Being out on the water keeps you away from the chaos on land, reducing the risk of running into looters, crowds, or other hazards. For those looking to stay off-grid, the natural distance a boat offers is hard to beat. However, boats come with their own set of challenges. Weather can be a serious threat, and fuel availability for power boats is something to consider carefully. If you opt for a sailboat, you mitigate the fuel issue, but sailing itself requires skill and practice. Living space is also limited, which can make long-term survival uncomfortable unless you're well prepared to optimize that space. For those considering a boat as a transport option to a more permanent bug-out location, it's crucial to plan your route, manage fuel and supplies, and be ready for any changes in weather or unforeseen obstacles. Flexibility and preparation will make all the difference when it comes to safely reaching your destination. And for those thinking about long-term living on a boat, self-sufficiency is the name of the game. With the right tools, like solar panels, water filtration systems, and fishing gear, living on a boat during an extended crisis is a viable option, but it requires ongoing maintenance and readiness. In the end, bugging out by boat isn't for everyone, but for those near waterways or with access to a reliable vessel, it can provide a secure, mobile, and self-sufficient alternative to traditional land-based plans. The key is to be well prepared, stay flexible, and understand the unique demands that living on a boat brings. If you're serious about including a boat in your prepping strategy, take the time to practice using it, familiarize yourself with local waterways, and ensure it's equipped with the right supplies and gear. By doing so, you'll be ready to take full advantage of the mobility, isolation, and sustainability a boat offers when it's time to bug out. Thanks for watching Prepper's Paradigm. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more practical prepping advice. Stay prepared, stay safe, and until next time, keep planning for the uncertain future.